And this is your election headquarters, Joy News. And you know, because of these violent instances or cases that have come, the atmosphere seems to be tense. Let's start with this peace message.
We cry for peace. Lord, we cry for love.
I am Bishop Joseph Osei Bonsu, President of the Ghana Kali Bishops Conference and Bishop of Konongo Mampong. Peace is what we want as Ghanaians. We all want peace. We want to live in peace. We do not want a situation where after elections, people are taking their possessions and running off to Burkina Faso, Togo, or the Ivory Coast. We want to live in peace. And so we all have to work for it. And there are many stakeholders, when we speak of peace with regard to the elections. So first of all, we have the government. So the government will have to play its role by providing the necessary logistics to the Electoral Commission. Then the Electoral Commission is like the referee for the elections. And so it should be neutral and should be seen to be neutral. It's like a referee in a football match. So if the players perceive that you're on the side of Team A or Team B, the football match will not go well. And so the same way we want the Electoral Commission to be non-partisan and not take sides, but be neutral and do its work well. Then we have the politicians, those vying for power. And because they are vying for power, sometimes they can say things that they are not supposed to say. So my appeal to them is to watch their language. They shouldn't insult their opponents and so on. They shouldn't see them as enemies. They are all vying for power, but that doesn't mean that they should insult their opponents. Sometimes they use intemperate language and so on. And I don't think we want that. And so we are asking the politicians to be careful in how they talk so that that will promote peace. Then also we talk about the security agencies, the police and all those entrusted with the security. And they also have to be professional in their work. They have to be non-partisan. Certainly they will belong to Party A or Party B or Party C, but when they put the uniform on, they should be seen to be non-partisan, very professional. So they should do the work as policemen or security agencies. And so during the elections, there may be places where there will be people causing trouble. They should arrest them and take the necessary action against them. And so during elections, it's customary to see some macho men going around, harassing people and so on. We're asking the police to deal with all these macho people, no matter which party they belong to. So they have to be strong and non-partisan. Then also the electorate, the politicians will come around with their messages and so on, and not only messages, they will also come with gifts. They will come and provide you with money and rice and sugar and oil and so on, and ask you to vote for them. That is bribery. Listen to the message that they are going to give. What are they going to do about education, about development, about peace and so on? And so when they come to you with these gifts, my advice is don't accept them and don't vote because of the gifts that they are giving you. Then to the youth, some of them during elections, are used by politicians for various things. Some of them are asked to go and snatch ballot boxes and cause trouble and so on. My advice to the youth is they shouldn't do that, because if you do that and you are arrested by the police or you are hurt, it's your own trouble. So they should not do that kind of thing. Then also we have pastors. Pastors, also citizens, they have the right to belong to various parties and so on and vote. But as pastors, as priests and ministers, they should be neutral. They should be non-partisan. And so they should not do partisan politics. They should try to be as neutral as possible so that that will bring peace. Then also there are pastors who have visions and dreams every day about elections. My advice to them is they should keep their visions and dreams to themselves. They should not come out and say that I dreamt about candidate A and was going to die, and that person should come to me for prayers. I think those kind of things do not help. When you do that, you are putting fear in people, you are dividing the people and so on. And so those pastors who are seeing visions and coming out of such messages, my advice is that they should keep their visions to themselves and not come out, because once you come out in favor of party A or party B, you are causing trouble. Some of them will come and say, oh, this party is going to win, or that party is going to win. When you do that, you are dividing the people. And so if God has revealed to you that party A is going to win, keep it to yourself.
Now, having heard of the peace message, let's talk about other stories. The chairman of the Greater Accra Regional Security Council, Nima Futagbo, has urged the leadership of the various political parties to inculcate in their members the need to ensure a violence-free election. Speaking at the back of the Sunday morning's disturbance at the Nima residence of the NPP flag bearer Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo, Mr. Futagbo blamed the violence on the kind of leadership being given to followers of these political parties. He condemned the incident and charged the leaders of these groups to step their game towards an incident-free poll come December 7. He spoke to my colleague Manasseh Azura-Winnie in an interview.
If there will be peaceful election in this country, it will depend on the leadership. Not in this country. Let me just limit it to Accra, being the seat of government and also the region that determines which political wins the day. It all depends on the leadership. Leadership qualities is very, very important, because if one believes in law or the rule of law and is very peaceful and is not a violent person, it manifests in the activities, political activities in the region, because people take instructions and orders from that leader. I don't believe in violence, and I don't believe in misbehavior, and I don't believe in insanity and indecency. I believe in the rule of law, just because I have a God-fearing background. And besides that, I'm not evil, diabolical, and I don't have any personal agenda. So after all, if Ghanaians want you as their leader, it will be based on your actions and what you have displayed to the glare of everybody. Now, yes, I've done this within the period that I've been in charge of the country. I did this 2 years ago when I was in charge of this place. I was able to build some schools in this particular community when I was the MP. I was able to went to the extreme. I was able to go to the extreme in solving a particular problem facing the people in a particular community, based on what you have done. The people themselves, on the day of the election, way before even the day of the election, will start organizing themselves to go and make sure that, yes, you continue to be what you have been, based on what you have done for them. This is my belief. So why shouldn't I, after displaying, after laughing with everybody and showing love to almost everybody, without looking at the political affiliation of whoever, why should I go and be organizing macho men, tours, and laggards to go and misbehave on the day of election? I don't believe in it. And because I believe in the rule of law, and I know what security is, I will make sure I will not disgrace myself to my subordinates who are in charge and are in uniform, to make sure that on the day of the election, there is peace everywhere in this region. I'll not disgrace myself to them by buying their conscience, working on their conscience, influencing them, go and do what is wrong, I will end up losing my credibility and my respect. And based on my training and with what I've gone through in the hands of the former president of this country, why? I'll make sure on the day of the election, nobody from our political party, no supporter from our political party, no activist from our political party will go and misbehave at any police station. They should go and stand and make sure that what every Ghanaian and the security agencies are going to do, they stand by them to do the same thing. But nobody, the police, the military, whoever, should not allow any individual to misbehave. And anybody at all that attempts to misbehave is not going to have it easy at all.
The AMA has issued a statement and is saying that if there's any political party that wants to hold a program within its jurisdiction, they should, because of these activities of violence, they should give it to them to scrutinize and perhaps sanction it. What do you make of that, and do you intend to extend it to other districts or municipalities?
IMA as a body cannot do that. It should be the Metropolitan Security Council, the MUSEC, not AMA.
Yes, I think that's what...
Yeah, that is MUSEC. Okay. And that one, it involves the police, the military, the fire service, everybody. All the security agencies are involved. So it's not just Oko van der Poel being the chief executive who came out with this statement. So I think it is something that people should comply. If you have nothing hidden under your sleeves, and you don't have any personal agenda, you just go by the rules and regulations of whatever arrangements or procedures laid down, so that at least, based on who you are as an individual person contesting the election to become the member of parliament, with the confidence that people have in you, they will continue to vote for you.
Would you suggest that this be extended to other jurisdictions beyond the AMA?
Whatever AMA did, I advise them to do that. Because when the incident happened, I had to move into the community myself.
Let's get more on this. I'm joined on the line now by security expert. He is also with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Dr. Kwesi Ening. Good morning to you, Doctor. Thank you for joining us. All right, so we don't have Dr. Kwesi Ening on the line, but of course we know that he's been talking about this particular incident, condemning what actually happened there and calling for some investigations into this particular incident, not just the actions of both the NDC and the NPP, but also the kind of weapons that were used in this particular incident. And we'll get him to explain and give us more information on that. But we do know that yesterday's incidents at Nima has gotten almost everyone following the political terrain talking. We'll get more on that. I'm told that Dr. Kwesi Ening is on the line. Good morning to you, Doctor. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Dr. Ening. All right, it seems we are having some challenges with the line of Dr. Kwesi Ening, but I was saying earlier that yesterday's disturbance at Nima has gotten almost everyone following the political terrain talking, and a lot more are wondering about the security situation in the country 22 days to the polls, and what are the two major political parties in particular doing to maintain peace? Could this confrontation have been avoided, and what is the way forward beyond the counter-accusations by the various political parties? I'm joined in the studio now by the Greater Accra Regional Chairman of the NDC, Joseph Adekoka. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for asking. So first, where were you when this incident happened?
I was right just a few meters from the Nima traffic light. We started this health walk around, I got there around 5:30 a.m. and we officially took off around 7:30, 6:30 rather, yeah. So we had walked all the way through the Usu, through La Township, and then went through Usu, Oxford Street. We came to the Dankwa runabout. Then we walked through in front of the police headquarters to the Nima police station, where those who were coming from Ododo and Ablekuma, West Ablekuma, Central Okankwe, has also worked so that we can do the final lap through the Nima Highway to Kaukudi Park. I was in there when I heard some gunshots. Where I was, I didn't know where the gunshots were coming from initially. There was gunshots, and I said, "What's going on?" So the guys who were protecting us then came and surrounded me to make sure that whether somebody was attempting to do something untoward. So as we walked through, then the shepherd and walked through the traffic light and continued our journey. At that time, there was no skirmishes. When I was passing through, there was no skirmishes. So around 12:31, we had a press release from the NPP that NDC had attacked them. And I said, how? And secondly, they reckoned that the wife of the presidential candidate was on her way to church and she couldn't get access to the road, so they came out to open access for her, and that meant that necessitated the firing of the guns, right? So it came as a surprise to us that they claimed that we attacked them. No, these people were dancing to the music of brass band and Jama music. And the whole place is full of asphalt, both sides and pavement. And nobody in his right mind will come from the house carrying stones, because you don't know whether you are going to get to that stage if even you are carrying stones from your house. It's so preposterous. I mean,
Mr. Koka, I'll come back to you shortly. Let me speak to Dr. Kosienin on this matter. Good morning to you, Doctor. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, good morning.
Great. I know you've already condemned this particular incident that happened Sunday morning, and you've also called for some investigations as well. Let's first start from your take it a level above your condemnation. This is not the first time we are having a violent incident like this. We've had the Odododio one. Earlier when you were talking, you also talked about what happened in some areas in the Bono Ahafu region. We just have 22 days to a major election. Do you think these violent incidences are getting out of hand?
Well, I mean, we should expect some more because politically related violence plays a particular role in our kind of politics. And more often than not, those who use abusive language, hate speech, and behave in manners that send shivers down the spine of those that they are competing or contesting against are more often than not also rewarded with political appointments and political positions. So the terminology getting out of hand is probably not apt because what we see serves a particular political function. But we should expect to see more.
Now, Dr. Enin, I know that you have called for investigations, particularly into the arms that were used. What exactly do you want the security agencies to do regarding that?
Well, I mean, I've called for two things. One is also to ask why the response from the police support team was so slow, and what does it mean much later on in terms of emergency response, backup, the use of intelligence assessment when crowds gather to be able to know whether the nature of the crowd and the way they are behaving can get out of hand. So we need to understand that much better because we know that all the commissions of inquiry relating to the Ghana Police Service have always faulted them about their crowd control capability. The second line of inquiry, which I think is very necessary as we head into the election, relates to small arms related issues. So guns were involved yesterday, so it's necessary for us to know where the guns came from. Have they been registered? In whose name was it registered? The person who used it, does the person have some training? It's important to get to the bottom of these two issues because, A, we have about 1.1 million guns unregistered in this country all over the place. And we need to understand if this particular incident will give us some intelligence as to whether this is one of those guns. So it's very important and very crucial. Secondly, is that by getting to the crux of this, hopefully the police will give us a report and a statement that will send a clear signal that it is not a tolerable behavior to use offensive weapons during, either public demonstrations or public meetings.
Dr. Eni, you have just said in this interview that we should expect some more of such cases happening.
Yes.
But what can the political parties do to at least minimize the situation where their supporters get involved in such, volatile cases?
Well, I'm not too sure that the political parties over the last 18 months or so have shown a consistent interest driven by shared values, shared norms, and shared principles to isolate and to punish those of their members who flout the rules. And I'm happy the chair of one of the parties is in your studio. If you read the manifestos of all the political parties, none of them advocate any shift of violence, hate speech, abuse, intimidating language. So I think the top political official in your studio must help us with this. Why is it difficult for political parties to discipline their members whose behavior, sends a signal that is contrary to the party's principles and values? And I think this is a broader conversation that we shouldn't wait to have after the election. We should start having that conversation now. I know during the primaries there were certain instances of indiscipline, and both major parties discipline some of the people who were involved. But I think we need to do much more across the country, saying, look, this is the only country that we have. This party does not support such behavior, and we will consistently punish those who flout the behavior so that it serves as a deterrent.
So for you, by now, the party should have started prosecuting all those who've been involved in such violent acts.
Well, if they can find them, yes, then it will be necessary for the party to discipline them, yes.
You also said that the police, you are expecting, or Ghanaians are expecting, that the police should bring out a report on what has happened. Beyond that, what can the police do to also maintain the peace in the country?
Let me say this. The police can only do so much if we as citizens don't want to conform. There's a limit to what not only the police, but the uniformed services, that is the army, the fire service, prison, SERPs, immigration, and even intelligence. There's a limit to what they can do. So there's a collective responsibility by all Ghanaians to say, look, we love this country over and above what any one individual or group of persons want, and that our contribution to stabilizing this country is that we'll follow the rules. If you take the 29,000 police stations that we have and the 7,023 flashpoints or potential hotspots, that is a threatening logistical hurdle for any security service. So the police can do so much. First is that they need better intelligence, because now they have a good idea of what can cause the flashpoint,
All right.
trouble. The second is the need for better logistics, communication. So there are things that they need, yes, but those are on the technical side, where we as citizens also to say we will provide information, we will behave in ways that will support the work of the police. Then I think we will all come out on the 7th and the 8th of December very proud of ourselves.
Dr. Kwesi Enin, he's a security expert. He's also with the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center. Thank you so much for sharing your views with us on this particular issue. I must say that I have on the line with me Freddie Blay. He is an executive of the opposition New Patriotic Party. And I'll pick just something short from him before I come to Mr. Adikoka, who is in the studio with me. Mr. Adikoka is the chairman of the NDC in the Greater Accra region. Good morning to you, Mr. Freddie Blay. Thank you for joining us on News Desk. Hello. All right, so we'll try and reconnect to Mr. Freddie Blay, and let me come to Mr. Adikoka. So you were talking about the NDC's view of what actually happened. I know there have been several counter allegations, NDC saying this, NPP saying this. Let's move on from there. Could this issue have been avoided?
Yes, there was no need for anybody to start firing when he sees a group of people also on the other side of the road doing their own thing, because there was no provocation as far as we are concerned. And this is not the first time that we are having such exercises. Every Sunday for the past 2 months or so, and I've attended about 2 or 3 of such programs at Nima Runabout. You know, when you go to the Nima Runabout, our constituency office is just by the roadside, opposite the church. There's this Roman Catholic church. Our office is right opposite, and that is where most of our supporters meet on Sunday mornings to embark on a program. And as our people start gathering, just by the runabout, you see the NPP supporters also gathering the same time, the same day, to embark on their.
Mr. Adikoka, you were talking from the NDC's perspective, because the NPP also has a different story as regards what actually happened. There are those who are of the argument that the NDC should not have also used that route. And yes, let me state on record that the police is investigating this case, and the police has its stance when it comes to this particular issue. But what I'm also learning is that actually this particular route was not supposed to have been used.
No. As far as Friday, we announced the routes that we are going to use, and we're using the routes where our supporters are located. And let's get this straight. That road is a public road. Now, what you are saying in front of my house at Dansoma, being a public official, then means that henceforth I'll have to block my road to avoid people from using it. You understand? So let's put that aside. That doesn't come in. We announced the road that we are going to use as far back as there was. Jingles went out, inviting our people to join us on the route. So that doesn't come in. And forget that's the Nadu Grandquest house. It's a private residence. Nobody made any effort to go to his private residence. We are talking about a road which is a public road that you don't need to go and ask permission to go and drive on that road for any given day. You understand?
Mr. Cook, I'll come to you as to what the NDC is doing. I'm sure you heard Dr. Kwesieni talking about what the party ought to do to ensure that there is peace ahead of this polls and during the polls. We can now speak to Freddie Blay. He's the acting chairman of the NPP. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining us on News Desk.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Blay. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Great. Let me try again.
Let's try again.
Great. So you've responded. I assume that you could hear what I'm saying. I want to find out, how is the NPP drumming the peace message into the minds of your members to ensure that at least there is some peace in this country ahead of the polls?
We can't do more than what we've been doing all along. We've made it very clear that we want to hold this election in a peaceful atmosphere.
What
this
has the
country is
NPP...
governed by law, and we are law-abiding. From our leadership, the presidential candidate is biased, me as an acting chair, and almost all of it. At any time that we have opportunity of meeting our executive, our strong supporters, we drum it down that we want to have a peaceful election and should not conduct themselves in any manner that will lead to any provocation and bring about some kind of...
Mr. Freddie Blay, you talk about talking to these members. How far has this message reached them? Because I was at the residence of the flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo yesterday, and I saw what happened, and it doesn't seem to support what you're saying.
But why do you say that? You're saying that when their flag bearer is under attack or provoke attack, and they go there to defend it, or to defend the house. You say that they are rioters. You think that they should have stayed in their houses only to announcement to come or information to come that the flag bearer or his family has been hurt. Is that what you are telling me?
Mr. Blay, I'm saying that yesterday, I must say on record that when I was there, the NDC activist had left, and I could see hundreds of people in NPP paraphernalia, and I saw a person said to be a member of the security detail shooting in the air. Not that anybody told me, I saw it. So you're saying that you've been preaching this message to them, and this is what happened. That's what I'm asking. What exactly has the NPP been doing or saying to them?
Well, I have told you that we've been telling our members, our supporters, to conduct themselves peacefully and according to law. Anybody who does not do so, we've told him or her or them that they will face the rigors of the law.
And so
we have had opportunity to go and tell the IGP, citing several instances where members have not provoked any violence. On the contrary, the NDC and its supporters, particularly the Metro Men, have assaulted our members.
Yes, Mr. Blay, nobody would condone whichever violence that was meted out to the NPP supporters that were there. That's your part of the story. NDC is also telling their part of the story. But I'm asking about the NPP, what you're doing, you know, to curb the situation and especially put members in check. Sorry, sir, let me land. You just said that you've been talking to them and you said that those who violate the laws would face the full rigors of the law. And so, for instance, this particular gentleman who was shooting in the air, when I was there, and others who, there was also another gentleman in the premises of the house. Has the NPP brought them to book yet?
No, listen. You say you saw somebody shooting. I am not there. And I was not there. At the moment I'm talking to you, I am in Ho. Now, if anybody does anything contrary to law, the person must face the rigors of the law. Besides that, I don't know what else you want the party leadership to do. To advise, yes, to advise. To stop those who will desire us to be in our midst. Either to suspend them or we have been doing that. But when they are provoked, when they are attacked, I personally, nor the leadership of the party cannot prevent the people from defending themselves. That should be obvious to everybody. That when you are attacked, you have a right to defend yourself. Now let's go back to what has happened, where you say you went. We've heard it all over, alarming, that our flag bearers houses and attacked. Of course, people are worried. People want to go and protect if there is any need to do so. As to whether people shot girls into the air or not, I wouldn't be in a position to comment on that. But it's justifiable that people who support Nana, who are behind him, who rise up to protect him, if in any way some people want to attack him.
So, Mr. Blair, you just said in this interview that those who violate the law would face the full rigors of it. I'm asking, has the NPP already identified those involved in yesterday's incident? And how soon are you from taking them to the police?
You are talking to me, I'm in Ho at the moment. You said you saw it. I believe you also lodged a complaint to the police.
But Mr. Blair, I believe you are not saying that the violence was only caused by the NDC. It's admitted that it was both supporters who were involved in this incident.
That has been a pattern.
So I'm asking, yes, sir, I'm not asking about what caused it. I'm not
Listen
asking
to me,
about what cause they say. I'm asking about being involved, both parties, supporters being involved in this. And so you are talking about those you would find as to have breached the law. And I'm asking, have you already started identifying them to put them before the police?
MFA, I've told you, as I am talking to you, I'm in Igbo.
MFA is my producer, sir. My name is Beatrice Edu.
You can't say that while I'm here, I've told somebody to identify who was holding a gun or not. I can't do that. I can't do that.
Sir, I'm not asking you as a person, but as the NPP.
First, your question. You are asking MPP and said, we haven't met. I'm in Ho. I believe the leadership are all started. You will definitely meet. But please don't get everything else fucked up. Don't mix them up. Identify the issue NDC members, whether they are going on work or so, go to the premises of our presidential candidate. Should they mass up at the entrance of the presidential candidate?
All right.
Do you think it's justifiable?
We'll end it here. I'm sure the police would investigate and tell us exactly what happened and what ought to be done moving forward. But thank you very much, Freddie Blair. He's the acting chairman of the NPP. Thank you for joining us on the phone lines. I still have with me in the studio Joseph Adikoka. He is the Greater Accra chairman of the NDC. And so let's move on from here.
I just want to correct an impression here. We did not amass in front of the house of the flag bearer.
That is their side of the story.
His house, the gate is at the other side of the road. We were on the road and we're having a health walk. And a health walk entails numerous numbers of persons. And the place had become jammed because our people were embarking on. And that place, that house is not, that road is not a private road.
Mr. Coker, permit me to say that yes, the police is investigating it, and we'll get to know what actually happened. But also, why did the NDC supporters pelt stones at the NPP?
Well, it's an afterthought. What happened yesterday?
Couldn't that have been avoided?
The whole place is asphalted. Don't forget, the whole of that road is asphalted, and what do you call it? The only building there on that side is his building and the police station. So where did the stones come from?
Mr. Coker, it's not justifiable.
No. Let me tell you something. We are all in this country. After the event, you can state manage something and come and say that stones were thrown. Look at these huge stones. Were they in the people's pocket or they were laid out by the roadside? Don't let them deceive you. Right? I was there. You see the footage. I'm coming. Nobody has shown a footage of people throwing stones. All along. I haven't seen any.
And you also didn't see anyone firing either.
I've got, no. The guys, we've got the pictures of the guy who was shooting. I've got the video camera. The MP, a PC for Okankwe North. He got there first with his group of people. And then what happened was that they said, per their own statement, they said the wife of the flag bearer is going to church.
Mr. Coker, let's talk about what the NDC intends to do to ensure there is peace. We have 22 days to the polls.
NDC have been peaceful all along. They attacked us at Ododo, we didn't retaliate. They attacked us Weja, we didn't retaliate. And my supporters have been coming to me, asking us to do something. So look, relax, let the law take its course. So we believe that the rule of law must take its course. We are not a violent party. Yesterday, if we decided to...
You're talking about you've been talking, yet yesterday there were stones throwing.
I'm saying that was state managed.
Okay.
That was state managed. The people in tracksuits, where were they keeping the stones?
We'll end it here.
These huge stones, where were they keeping it?
Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph Adikoka. He is the Greater Accra chairman of the NDC. And of course, we'll get more on this later as this particular story unfolds. But we do know the police has also been reacting to this. We can take a view of this.
Preliminary investigation, as a piece of information we have picked around, which we are going to assess and synthesize and draw our final conclusion. What we have points to the fact that the supporters of the two political parties in the constituency had indicated their intention to hold health work yesterday. They had discussions about the health work with the community police. I mean the police command within the community, the Nima police. And so the various incidents had started taking place at their respective locations. And then when the supporters from the NDC got the stretch from the traffic light in front of the Nima police station up to the Nima runabout, when they got there, they broke out chaos when they got to the vicinity of the residence of the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. We have heard allegations of gunshots, and so have we heard allegations of stone throwing. Police went in to quell the situation and to ensure that normalcy was restored. In the aftermath of this, the police commenced investigation whereby the crime scene management team from the CID headquarters was invited to come and commence their own part of the investigation.
And you just heard Superintendent Surface Arthur there giving the police's side of the story. You're still here on News Desk on Joy News on Multi TV. My name is Beatrice Edu.